Hey everybody, I have Patrick here. He's one of our clients here at HouseProDigital. For the past few months, we've been managing his commercial lead generation services. Essentially, we've just been doing his B2B cold email outreach for his cleaning company. Patrick, if you don't mind, can you tell people a little bit more about your business, and what your kind of commercial lead flow was like before working with us?
Yeah, for sure. So we've been in business since 2022, and we're in a really small market. I think I looked it up, and it was like I was looking at other small cities, and I was like, okay, Tulsa is a small city, and we're like 4 times smaller than Tulsa, so it's a real small market. And so it's a cleaning business, as you mentioned, and I'd say, you know, we're really heavily residential. Like it's almost 100% residential. And any commercial leads we were getting was very much just ad hoc. Like people would just reach out randomly for us. Um, Sometimes it was like people who we already cleaned for their house or their neighbors had a business and they would just happen to reach out, but it was like very ad hoc. And so the marketing strategy was very focused on residential. And so I'd say the commercial flow was like, it kind of wasn't there. There wasn't a pipe to bring in commercial leads. It was all focused towards residential. So any commercial we got was like a happy surprise, like, oh, that's sweet. But it definitely wasn't a focus for me at all. I was very much residential. But that being said, like I knew commercial was a untapped side of the business for us. And so I always had this intent to go chase it and go get it and change what we would do to go get that commercial leads. But it was basically non-existent. That's the sad truth of it.
Okay, cool. And so with that, what made you decide to go all in on working with us versus kind of doing it on your own or working with someone else?
Yeah, I'm a big DIY type of guy. So when I started the business, there were a lot less courses at the time, 2021, 2022. Now it seems like there's a lot. And so there were less at the time, but I basically saw just a Twitter thread about starting a business. And so I decided, okay, let's give it a go. I can DIY this. You know, I'm a smart guy. I worked for a big tech company at the time. And so I figured, oh, I'm just going to go for it. I can DIY this. And so I built that business up. We were doing, 10,000 within the first month or two. We got to 6 figures like very shortly after that. Now we're hovering a little less than $1 million a year. So I've been DIYing everything along the way. And that includes like hiring the VAs and training them up on how to do certain things. But like I told you, like my marketing strategy is pretty patchwork. It's, some Facebook ads and some Google ads, some LSA, but it's mostly just what I know. And so I bought a subscription for Apollo and I bought a subscription for Instantly. And I thought, I'm going to figure this cold email thing out. And that was early this year. So like January of this year, I'm going to like dive into commercial and we're going to get it going. So I sat on that and I thought, I got to watch a couple of YouTube videos. I got to go figure out how to use this stuff. So then January went, then February went, then March went. And I'm like $300 in the can, which I'm a little ticked about. But what I was more ticked about was like, I'm just bleeding time away. And as much as I would love to just commit 10 hours or 20 hours or 50 hours or whatever it would take to do the cold emailing, because I feel like, okay, I can figure it out. I just wasn't getting to it because there was other sales, other hiring, and other operations that I was focused on. So I really felt like I need to outsource some of the intelligence on this, and I can't go figure everything out myself. So this is the first thing that I've outsourced ever, and still the only thing that I've outsourced is working with you guys on cold emailing.
Awesome. Appreciate that. And so with working with us, how's the communication been? Whenever we've needed to adjust campaigns, scripts, strategy, also tapping on maybe our transparency and how we run things, just kind of everything along those lines.
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like it's been just fine. I mean, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect because I had never worked with an agency before and not an outbound email agency. And and so I didn't know what to expect, but what I've been happy with is like the software you guys put out. I've used it and if I ever have a question, for one, I can email you or just reach out to you, and you specifically are very responsive, but so is your team. So that's always helpful because there was some stuff in there which I was like, Ian, we got to get this. Like, what's going on here, man? We need some features. And then it's like, wait, this is already in there. I just need to ask the question. And then I think I did give you kind of one idea of like, hey, what would be really nice is a specific little like star that I could just like always come back to, and you guys put it in within like a week. I was like, dang, okay, awesome. So
Yeah.
now I use that all the time. If I want to, if someone's been kind of cold for a while, and I got a little star I got that I can now check back in on them. So I feel like that communication has been really nice. And then you guys are very like upfront about the leads that get charged for. And so, on my side, I feel like, if I was wondering, well, what is an interested lead? I mean, that can be a little bit subjective, but I feel like you guys have been very fair about it, and like you just tell me exactly who you're charging for. And to this point, I haven't felt like I've needed to say like, hey, come on, that wasn't an interested lead. Like they've all been pretty interested. Like they're asking for price lists, they're asking for a quote. Some of them are just like swing by the office. And so for me, it's like, okay, those people are warm leads. Some are obviously hot and they're mad about the companies that they have. And so we have a better chance of winning them today. Some of them are in multi-year contracts. And so it's nice just to be in their mind share for the next time that contract comes out. So, I think they're interested either way. So I've liked that as well. So I think top to bottom, I've been happy with the communication.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, for everyone listening, Patrick is the reason that we have the important tab now. He suggested that, I think it was on month 1, and we're like, that was such a no-brainer for us to put in there. Got implemented within a few days, and you're helping hundreds of people now, which is awesome. So yeah, thank you, Patrick, for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I was going to ask about results then. Leads you've gotten, opportunities, sales and things of that nature. How's that been going?
Yeah. So it's been good, man. So I think of this a little bit differently than I think about like Google LSA. Because Google LSA is like, it's a little bit addicting, but it's like a little bit of a slot machine. Like you either hit it or you don't, and then it's done. You don't really have to think about it. These leads, I think, are a little bit more of a long-term play. And so, like I said, some of them are mid-contract and they still want your information to have on hand. And that's cool. That's great. Awesome. Like we can maintain that relationship then. So I would say like the leads that are coming in are good. Some of them have been like hyped, where the most recent one I had just signed a contract with was this automotive shop. They had basically a commercial janitorial cleaning company doing their shop. And that's all they did. They didn't do any residential, that company, but they felt like the quality was lacking. So, I get on the email I get the email from the guy, and I am able to set up basically an estimate just to walk through the shop. So we go through the whole thing. I mean, this is my district manager who goes in with him and sits down and does the whole thing. But they do a walk through the shop. She gives him a quoted price, and I think might have been like 30 or 35% higher than what he was paying. And for him, it was like a no-brainer. He's like, well, the quality I'm getting for the price I'm paying today isn't really what I want. So we hardly had to sell him. And we signed like a $15,000 contract with him and just started up that contract with him like a couple weeks ago. So that one was really nice because this guy was hot. He was like wanting to change who his company was. We didn't have to wait for any sort of like contractual end date. And we were able to start that contract with him basically right away. And so leads like that are still coming in the door, which is really nice because we've got, 2 people going to work that job every single week as a weekly client now. And the guy's super cool. He's very chill. He was happy to have us in. And like, those are the clients we want to have. So I've been pretty happy with some of the results that we've had. And so, even if that's, for the price point that you're offering it at, you don't have to hit very many times on contracts like that to make it worthwhile. And so for me, I'm happy with the results because I know that it's a longer term play, like the cycles are going to be longer. But if we have a couple of wins along the way, like it's going to pay for itself, and it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Cool then. Well, if someone was on the fence and they're thinking about working with us here at HouseProDigital, what would you say to them?
I'd say that if you're willing to pay for LSA, you should be willing to pay for cold outbound. Like the price point for what it is, I think is bigger bang for your buck. You might not strike as many, but you got to be able to be willing to be more patient when it is a commercial job. So, if you're not seeing results on day one, I get it. Like that can be a little bit of frustrating, but like, that's business. You gotta be okay with long lead cycles if you're gonna go commercial. So for me, like if someone was on the fence, I'd say you can DIY. I'm sure people can figure it out. But like if you don't have the time or money and your business is a combination of three things, which is sales, recruiting, and operations, it's like I feel like this is one very easy aspect where you can outsource a solid part of learning it, figuring it out, but still maintain then the touch point from selling through the operations and doing, of course, your like own recruiting. So to me, it's like I was a DIYer and it was just like, I can't do it forever. And this is a great first place to do it. And then for the price point that you're getting leads at, it's like, to me, a no brainer. Like it's very affordable and you have to be willing to invest to go get some bigger contracts.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, totally agree. And that's one of the biggest things that we harp on here is that big deals take time, right?
Yeah.
And so even if you only swing at 10%, well, it's like if the average contract is 4-figure a month contract, it doesn't take very many for it to become a very positive ROI on the service.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah,
And you got to figure it out over time. Like we just went in and bid for one that came in, and it was we lost it, but it was like a good learning experience because I was able to kind of build rapport with the gal, and it was a contract that only comes up once a year. I think maybe there was a second year option if you're doing a good job. So I build out my whole quote. I like get through that whole process, and it's like a different skill set to flex and figure out. We didn't win it. So I asked, okay, how much did we miss it by? And it was like a few $1,000s. I was like, okay, good to know. Like we can adjust our pricing, we can adjust the process. I've got this nice template now, and we can use it going forward. But it is a different skill set to get into, like, I feel like the cold emailing versus, hey, if you're crushing residential, awesome. But that skill set, like the things you do day to day and your expectations have to be a little bit different for commercial and B2B.
totally agree. Awesome, Patrick. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here with me today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're on the edge, give me a call. We'll talk to you. See you.